everything about your life at some point like has changed to get you where you are and will change in the future. Change mindset and talking about building mindset, navigating change tactically, etc. It is the single largest requested topic that I get for these weekly videos. So we're going to dive into that this week and talk about some stuff because this month is around mindset. And I'm going to be kind of unpacking it three different ways. One is like your personal relationship to change, like an individual level. Also for organizations around like how to be proactive around change and some tips and tools around like ways you can prepare teams for change and actual steps and tactical things you can do, as well as like when you're going through large changes, things you can do to sort of like be more effective and not drop the ball. This is a challenging topic. There's a lot of things to unpack here. So first, personal relationship to change. And I think if you want to have a torturous life, then be resistant and reluctant to change. And I think this ties into growth mindset that we talked about before, but to see change as an opportunity and also to be proactive and understand change is inevitable. It's like everything about your life at some point like has changed to get you where you are and will change in the future. There's nothing about your life that you can guarantee will be the same other than like your birthday. If you were to write a list of everything in your life that could not possibly change, there should be nothing on that list. Your job description, the car you drive, like who you're in a relationship with, like things change throughout your life. So to understand that like you don't know when or what it will look like, but like change is absolutely inevitable. And to sort of have a mindset that embraces that's part of life and you're gonna thrive and survive, right? It doesn't have to be so scary. And I think mindset is so important there. It's like change is not always good, but it's not always a threat and it's not always something that's like terrible and scary. It's like, even if it's not good, there's ways that it can be an opportunity for you to grow, to change, like do something different. And I think just your personal relationship with change is so important that you're invested and interested in like leveling that up. Talking about organizations and with teams. One is talking about proactively, how do you build mindsets around receptiveness to change on teams? And I think one way to do that is that we should be proactive in that we're not waiting for every 3 or 5 years when some huge change comes, right? And then hope that our people are prepared for, ready, can deal with and navigate change well. I think that like change needs to be part of our culture. It needs to be something that we cultivate and our intention around building mindsets and being proactive. And so there's a lot of different little ways that you can do that that just introduce and create change inside teams. Like you can paint the walls, you can move furniture around, right? You can like have a different people run your meeting every week. There's resources like Who Moved My Cheese, this like classic book about change, but like that's a great resource to put people in a mindset to understand like these are different ways of reacting and dealing and like changing people's relationships with change, and be proactive, because we shouldn't wait for huge change to happen and then be like, how come our people aren't prepared and why are people so reluctant to change? It's like we should be incorporating that along the way. The other one I want to talk about is, as an organization, when you're going through big changes, what are steps you can do to be more effective? And I think over communicating is like always a great idea. And in that could look like having a blog internally that you're explaining things to people, or like an internal kind of like communication or press release that explains to people like, this is what's happening, this is why, this is the context for it, this is what's expected of you, right? And just like giving people a lot of information and being transparent so that they don't feel excluded, right? And they don't make up narratives about like what's happening and why, but just like over communicate with people, or give people the opportunity to ask questions and understand on a deeper level and be proactive about that. And certainly, there's a balance here because we want to be as transparent as possible, but in business, as leadership, right, there are some things that like we cannot communicate all the way throughout the organization immediately, and there's context and reason for that. The other part of change that's important in organizations is like people's personal accountability. And somebody who does a lot of great work in this area is Cy Wakeman, and her like reality-based leadership is a great resource. It's also a great book for any individual leaders around like managing change. But something that she says that I love is this idea that like buy-in is not optional, and sort of having, creating mindsets inside teams and with organizations where you're being supportive of the changes that are happening, but you're also letting people know like this change is absolutely happening. Like this is our reality. These these are circumstances, and like buy-in is not an option here. But at the same time, it's like, how can I, as a leader, as a team, support you? What do you need to be successful in this? And I think Sai does a lot of great work in that space, and I love it. I think it's so important, change mindset and like how we navigate these things. It's a difficult topic. There's a lot of dynamics, and it's not easy for everybody. So I think it's important as a colleague, as a leader, as an organization, to understand that like some people have a very hard time with change because of their own sort of like personal relationship with it, etc. So like to be gentle and patient with those people, but also come from a place of support and not coddle people. I don't think in an organization it's very unhealthy to be like, we have this change going on, and a lot of population or people are like push back against it and sabotage it and make it not happen. It's like we do collectively have to sort of be accountable, right? That like the organizations and leaders have to bring people along and support them, but also like any employee has a responsibility to sort of like embrace change, to understand that change is necessary. For organizations to stay relevant and improve, like we have to change. And as uncomfortable as that may be, when we have mindsets that embrace it, that are like, yes, we know change is going to happen. It can be fun, right? It's like, I think even as an organization, like ask people, what can we change here that would be fun for you guys? And having competitions and different things inside the organization that like cause that. Because certainly that's one thing that causes change is competition, like in the marketplace, right? Competitors, and how do we stay relevant and succeed? And remembering like those things are actually positive. Like competitors and outside forces that like cause us to have to change and level up also like make you better and stronger as an organization, as a team. It's like by having competition in a marketplace, it forces you to level up your game and be like, how do we offer more? How do we offer better service? How do we like ultimately serve the people that we're serving, that are our clients and customers, in a more effective way? It does always create something better at the end, even if it's uncomfortable. So that's a lot of things. I know change is really, really challenging sometimes, but like your personal mindset and the mindset of teams and being proactive about like being better at it is so critical. Y'all ready for this? Do 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 bow 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 bum bum beady bow 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 bim bim beady bow 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 bim bim beady bow bow bow. Ow ow! Can you do the can? It's called the can. And then you're asking people like, can you do the can? It's like, I guess. No one's like, I can't do the can. It's called can, and like doubly, so like can. It's not like maybe can or can maybe-ish or like sort of can. It's like double can, like for sure. Like take can twice and be like, I don't know if I can do it.